The Wall Street Journal has turned on Mitt Romney. In a scathing editorial today, the conservative paper takes aim at the Republican candidate's shifting position on the health care law, writing, quote, "The campaign's insular staff and strategy are slowly squandering an historic opportunity." Reihan Salam joins me along with Roland Martin. And Reihan, you point out, and I've seen this before, the Wall Street Journal has been critical of Mitt Romney before, but today was a really damning editorial. It criticized him for the way he's handled health care. It says you're about to do it again on the Obama campaign's allegations about outsourcing, and you need to basically get rid of the Boston boys and shake the whole thing up.
I think that there are some elements of the Journal's critique that are on target. It really is true that the Romney campaign right now seems to be rattled now that the momentum seems to have shifted back to the president. On the other hand, I think that Mitt Romney and Fernstrom were right in the first place to say, we agree.
Fernstrom being Eric Fernstrom,
exactly,
his chief advisor, right?
Exactly. We agree with the conservative justices who said that this is not, in fact, a tax. And the idea that you just accept whatever a Supreme Court majority says seems very strange, given that conservative Republicans have been very critical of a lot of majority Supreme Court decisions in the past. What Romney, I believe, was trying to do—
Like Roe v. Wade, they don't just accept it?
Indeed, indeed. And so I think what the campaign was trying to do was move the conversation back to the economy and away from an issue that is really not the core issue of the campaign. Every day you're not talking about unemployment and the economy is a day that's good for President Obama and the home team.
Roland, you know, this also comes on the heels, of course, of Rupert Murdoch, whose company owns the Wall Street Journal, personally being extremely critical of Mitt Romney and demanding staffing changes. So, I mean, I guess you could call it a pile-on, but a lot of people seem to agree.
Look, one of the reasons they are so critical of Mitt Romney right now is because health care has been the albatross around his neck for quite some time. Part of the Romney camp's problem is that they are so desperate to try to defend what he did in Massachusetts as opposed to go on the attack with what President Obama is doing with a national health care. And so I think that, you know, basically, if you're able to simplify the argument, you cannot try to make a nuanced argument on an issue like this when your supporters simply want clear explanations in terms of what's going on. That's the fault there. And so they keep saying, well, no, when what we did is a penalty, what Obama's doing is a tax, and we agree with the conservative justices that it's not this. So you're sitting here going, dude, make up your mind.
Like
what is? That's why I call it a schizophrenic. It's a schizophrenic, frankly, communication strategy.
Ryan, I do have to say there is one thing. This whole penalty versus tax, I understand legally it can be a very serious distinction, but for people, you know, paying attention to this, it does kind of make your eyes glaze over. I mean, it is what it is. Call it what you want to call it, but it's politics.
There are two guys on the Democratic ticket, Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Both of them were people who in 2000 had said that the individual mandate is not a good idea. It's not going to work politically. Right. And I think that they made a reasonable
Because they wanted
point.
Universal health care. They wanted to go further.
Well, actually, I mean, Barack Obama had a nuanced position. He was certainly, I mean, he said in the past that he favors single payer, perhaps in a perfect world. But in that race, he was the one who was running to the right of Hillary Clinton and John Edwards, who both favored a mandate. You know, it's a nuanced discussion on that side, too. But it's certainly true that healthcare should not be the focus of the election if you're Mitt Romney.
But
it should be the economy.
Mitt Romney shake up his staff?
Look, I think that if you look at how these guys have handled, they dispatched all of their rivals in a very systematic way during the Republican primaries, and I think they can do that again. I think that what happened here, the reason why they had this flip on July 4th, let's remember, a day when a lot of people weren't paying attention, is because they wanted to move this out of the, you know, kind of the conservative zone where people are complaining about it and are upset about it. They just want to bury it, and then I think they want to refocus on the economy if they can.
Unfortunately, you just used the words flip, which lead to flop, which, hold on, Roland, I want to get one more thing in here before we run out of time. I want to play this soundbite for you of who I think is the biggest fighter and biggest asset in Mitt Romney's campaign. I'm biased, but here it is.
It makes you recognize that they are going to do everything they can to destroy Mitt. So, you know, they're trying to portray him in a light that is just completely wrong.
Why? Why is that?
Well, it's politics, as Mitt said. And, you know, I think early on we heard what their strategy was. It was kill Romney.
Roland, I say I'm biased because she's a woman, but she is the one who seems to always be fighting back. Why isn't he the one fighting back? Why is it Ann?
First of all, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're a woman. Look, I believe that Michelle Obama was then Senator Obama's biggest asset, and frankly, she can explain his accomplishments even better than he can on the campaign trail. And so I think you do have to properly deploy Ann Romney or Michelle Obama, but what you don't want to do is put them in a position where they frankly are the chief communications surrogate. You also have got to have strong people who have been politicians, who have been governors, who have been senators out there. Romney's problem is that him and Romney, as well as Finstrom and his own advisors, they're the ones trying to drive the conversation. Let the other people who are good at this do it for you, not you or your team.
All right, thanks very much to both of you. We appreciate it.